What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and this is your Love and Marriage Huntsville recap, review, or whatever. As you can see, we're not watching it and at the same time because I want to get through this video and that's it. Because you already know how I feel about Love and Marriage Huntsville. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by, and we're going to talk about it. So overall, the episode was actually really good, and we're going to talk, okay? All right. We start off with Marcel. He's at the Uptown, which I guess is their cigar lounge, and he wants to create a brunch space. So he's talking to Andrea, the black architect, and he says that he have found a chef. Honey, when they showed the replay of that chef, he was selling himself. He said it's going to be exquisite. I already got. Just let me know when y'all want to sit down, because I already got the menu out and everything. I'm letting y'all know now. So he's ready to go. So they want to do this brunch space, and then Martel pops up. Martel said he wants to check on Marceau after he got into the car accident. And he says, and he's kind of reminiscing about the place where Marceau is building this brunch space, because it used to be an old hand-me-down place where him and his mom would come get stuff, I guess, to around the house, stuff that she needed. And so he kind of is like reminiscing about that space or whatever. So he was like, he lets him know that the deal for the 47 acres has stopped based on what's going on with him and Melody's divorce. In Marceau's interview, he says that he doesn't even see how, Martel can get up out the bed. There's so much stuff happening with him, back to back stuff. I don't understand how, if he can get out the bed or not. He's lucky he can get out the bed. So Marceau asks him, how are you? Like, what, how are you doing? He was like, yeah, I'm good. Lying. You ain't good. Like, I'm good. I'm focusing on the kids, trying to keep it together. And that's the thing. Marceau was like, I really want to see you hit rock bottom. And so Martel kind of was like, why would you say that? And he was like, because it seems like that's what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid hitting rock bottom. And it seems like you just not allowing yourself to do that. And he was like, I'm there. No, I'm there. He was like, are you? He's like, well, you need to decide what's important to you, basically. Just giving. One thing I have to say, Marceau is a misogynistic pig. But he gives really good advice. I'm going to have to give it to him. He really gives, like, good advice. Like, you can't even front. Like, we're going to get to him when he was sitting outside with Letisha having that dinner, where I'm going to get on his ass in a second. But the advice that he was giving to Martel, he was like, it's good to see him back. But I felt like Martel was not really being really truly vulnerable in that space. He's trying to keep it together as anybody would, because that's what it is. Like, I gotta maintain. I can't let these people see me break. I can't not let these people know that I'm broken. I can't let these people know that I'm going through it. I'm just focusing on the kids. I was like, okay, nigga, no, you don't look like that. But he says once again that he is preparing for rock bottom. And he says, Marcel says, I hope that Martel can be a better man after this. Time will only tell. He ends up inviting Martel to the soft opening of their brunch space or what have you. So now Melody and Martel's mom are meeting, and that's good that they're still friends. That's good, because some mothers, unfortunately, will take on and support and not hold their sons accountable when they are doing or harming their spouse, wife, or whatever. They will not take the woman's side. They won't see her point of view. They're always figuring out a way to excuse the bad behaviors of their sons. And we see mothers do it all of the time. So it's good to see that her and her mother-in-law are still cordial, and she can come in and she can offer her food, and it's all of that. So she said, she was like, what do I cook that's your favorite, that I like, that's my favorite? She said, girl, what? I cook everything you like. She was like, that's true. But she ends up making a roast or whatever. And she tells the mother that, people don't realize the effects that they have on the entire family by being selfish and continuously being selfish and only thinking about yourself and how it affects your entire family. And she's like, the family is pretty much broken apart. He keeps telling people that I'm cheating. And her mother-in-law says, well, did you cheat? Fair enough. To me, that was fair the way she asked. She just asked. She wasn't coming off with like, well, I mean, it must be true because my son said it. She didn't give her none of that. It was, so did you? So Melody explains, like she has explained time and time again, when she decided that it was over between her and Martel, she did speak to somebody for about 3 weeks. They didn't have sex. It wasn't anything like that. And that's what he's going around telling everybody about. And she's like, and I don't appreciate that. Here's the thing. And I thought about it. You know that Martel doesn't give a shit about Melody because you're lying on her. You are trying to make her seem like a bad person in order to direct the attention to her instead of you, because you do know and you are aware that men are forgiven when they cheat. And that women will turn around and say that it was the woman's fault for her husband cheating. And I don't think Martel is probably being met with some of that, but I think for the most part, everybody is seeing Martel for his works, and none of it is working. None of it is working. So she was like, what he was doing, that was cheating. He was literally living a double life. That's cheating. And the mother was like, You're right. She couldn't disagree. And I'm so glad that we got to see a mother sit there and listen to the woman, her daughter-in-law, that her son has harmed and hurt. And that she was not trying to make excuses for him. She did not blame her for him cheating. It was good to see her sit there and just listen to it. But it was funny, baby, where she was like, he threatened full custody. And the mother was like, girl, what? No, because he ain't threatening. He ain't getting full custody because I ain't taking care of nobody's babies. Those are y'all babies, not my babies. Honey, those are my grandkids and I love them to death. But that's not what's going to happen. She was like, girl, I guess that's what he think is going to happen. You going to be helping him take care of all 5 of his kids. I love my grandkids, but those are y'all kids, okay? So she was like, and then Melody goes, well, girl, I don't know with this new baby. I don't want him to push these other ones to the side. And she was like, listen, what happened has happened. We can't undo it. He's going to have another baby. I'm pissed about that, but I'm going to love that baby just the same as I love my other grandkids. And I'm going to love him. And she was like, oh, it's a him? I didn't know that. So now she knows that it's a boy. So what do you guys think about that? I told you what I think. I think it's great that she sat there and she didn't make any excuses for Martel. None. Did not make any excuses. Did not place blame on anybody. Asked what she wanted to know. Did you cheat? Okay. You say you didn't cheat. You gave me an example. I agree. Like, that wasn't she. She was like, so I don't see it that way. I don't think Melody cheated either. She kind of, I assume that they cut it out because it seemed like she said she wasn't sleeping with Martel anymore. So it was like, I was already out of the marriage and I'm ready to file divorce. So whatever I was doing wasn't considered cheating. But what he did, that's it. So y'all let me know what y'all think about how Melody and the mother were relating in that scene. So we get to Marcel and Letisha. Letisha comes in. She looks really cute. She had her hair. She got her little thing. Marcel was like, what's up? Like, yes, baby. You could tell that she has been taking care of herself. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but Letisha has been really switching up her look. So I don't know what's the motivation behind that. But anyways, he was like, yeah, baby, you look good, or what's going on? She was like, I just wanted to give you a date night, since you got into the car accident and stuff like that. I really want you to know how much I care about you. And it's important for you to know that you are the foundation of this family. Without you, we wouldn't have this and all this other stuff. Just giving him his appreciation because he just got into a car accident. So she's feeling like she just needs to let him know that he's appreciated, what she's appreciative. He tells her, I told you at the beginning of the relationship basically what I cared about, and that I could make the money, and that basically you could just stay at home and take care of the family. And he says, I don't want you to step up in business. I want you to step up in motherhood as my wife. And then Letisha basically says that she can't depend on him in that way because anything can happen to him, i.e. this accident. And so I need to know that I'm able to take care of my family just in case something happens to Marcel. Legitimate. There's nothing else. There's no other way. There's no excuse. There's no reasoning. There's no saying nothing against what Letisha says. She's 100% right. She's 100% right. And that's what it is. So I didn't like the fact that he told her he just wants her to be his wife and that she cannot step up in business and that she needs to step up in motherhood. I don't like it. I don't like it. I didn't like that he said, I want you to direct your energy to our family and basically not to these friendships with these women. I need you to be solely focused on me and this family. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I did not like it. So she tells him that she had a conversation with Mel and that it doesn't seem like, they keep saying like, I don't want any negativity. But she says, I don't want any negativity. I want it to just be positive. And she doesn't know if she could trust Mel in that way. So she doesn't know if she wanted to go on the girls' trip, but she explains that she's going to go for one day. And I just need to know that I can make sure that I can let my hair down at this event. So I'm at this event, and I'm gonna go just for one day. Child, I just didn't like the way Marcel told her to focus on our family and not your friendships. I didn't like that at all because it's very isolating, and I'm triggered by stuff like that. I don't like that. Don't be trying to tell me I can't focus on my outside relationships and work on my outside relationships and just focus on you and the family, girl. And then what happens when you die? You just almost got into a car accident. What the fuck? No. Absolutely not. Anyways, Martel and Melody, they meet up. They're dropping the kids off. She says since she talked to the mother-in-law, it's kind of messed with her spirit. And, so she's not feeling Martel right now. She really doesn't want to see him. She's cool. She's mad again right now. She's not in a good space. So he says, well, we need to talk. I'm going to put the stuff in the car and this and that. They so happy to see their daddy. They get in the car. I don't agree with traipsing kids back and forth. I don't agree with that. I feel like it messes up their central nervous system. It doesn't give them a good sense of foundation when they're going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And basically how I feel is that that's the reason why two-parent households are so important because, like he said, they want to be with you because it's fun. There's not really a lot of structure there. And they're spoiled out there. And they don't want to be with me. It's fun with mommy because they don't have to do so many chores. And so what Martel is doing is providing structure and discipline. What mommy is doing is being the nurturer, fun thing. And that's why two-parent households are important, whether it's male or female in terms of gender or whatever, but it's important to have that structure because it's always going to be one who's more strict than the other parent. And so it's good to have that balance. And now you taking them back from structure to no structure, structure to no structure, structure to no structure, dropping them off, taking them back 1 week at a time, going back and forth, back and forth. Melody wants to travel from Atlanta to Huntsville and drop off. That's even worse. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with just 1 week here, 1 week there in the same damn city, let alone crossing state lines. That's too much for the kids. It's too much for the kids. I don't give a fuck in this sense about Melody or Martel. For the kids, you are messing up their central nervous system by doing that to them. You guys keep saying that kids are resilient. Kids are resilient. It's not by no coincidence that all of us as adults are in therapy. We're not resilient. Stop thinking children are resilient and they can be traipsed back and forth and be moved like this back and forth all the time between two fucking adults. No, never. I will never agree with that. I will never agree with that. But those are the negative things that come with divorce and separation, is doing that back and forth thing and then using the kids because back and forth, back and forth. I don't agree with over the state lines. I don't agree with traipsing kids back and forth. And that's it. And that's how I feel. Yeah, they happy with it. Yeah, because it's fun. He said they were being spoiled. So she was like, honey, I'm not in the mood for any of this or whatever. So she's like, but I do know that you, since you asking people, telling people that you filing for full custody, you're going to have proof. Like I said on that other video, if you want full custody, you're going to have to prove that the other parent is unfit. Whether y'all believe that I believe Martel or not, the fact is he's going to have to prove it. That's the fact. Period. So prove it. If you have the evidence to prove that she's unfit, prove it. So she was like, he's like, it's about the kids, it's about the kids. And then she starts in with the digs, you never be fulfilled. There's some things about you that will never be fulfilled. And while she's telling the truth, this is why she should have got her ass in the car and left, because that was the exchange. He wanted to talk. He wanted to have conflict with her because that's the only way that he's able to relate to her right now. That's the only way that he's going to be able to see any emotion from her is by angering her. And that's it. So she was like, oh, and by the way, your mama told me you have a boy on the way. I'll holler at you. Martel was like, oh, so you want to say your little shit and, make a scene and walk off. No. So when he walked around the car, you can hear his voice. You can hear the loss of control when he yells, stop, to her. She gets in the car. She was like, Martel, I got to go. The kids are watching you. He was like, so you just want to say what you got to say and just leave? You want to do that? That's what you want and you think that's cute? Okay. Enjoy them. 1 week. Enjoy them. All right. Have a good time. That's what he wanted to do. The only way that he could know that there's some care there, that she cares about him, is to make her angry, because he can't get the love anymore. So when you're still angry at a person, you still care a little bit, right? So if he can make you angry, he knows there's still an attachment there, right? So that's what Martel is doing. Martel, although he is a master, no, he's not. I hate the term master manipulator. We can see that he's doing the manipulation game, and everybody has gotten through therapy and has gone through the work and has worked on themselves to be able to identify it. And I think there's a lot more people who ain't falling for Martel's shit and who can recognize it, okay? I'm sure there's kids, adult children who had parents who were divorced and they had to be traipsed back and forth. You can say in the comments on whether or not how that did for you with your health, your mental health and emotional health, being traipsed back and forth. I'm not talking just out of my fucking ass when it comes to that. Also, I'm a product of divorced parents as well. So everybody can get down in the comments and explain. Stop saying kids are resilient. Stop doing this to children. Stop it. It's too much. It's too much. Anyways, Kimmi, Maurice, and Jalen have a meeting, a family meeting. And Maurice explains we have differences in how we approach things. We have a person in the workforce and we have a person in entrepreneurship. And Maurice says it just feels like, Jalen, you're in the dark and we just want to make sure that you're successful. What do you do that you get excited about? He was like, nothing, not right now. I'm not passionate about anything right now. For an entrepreneur to hear that, it's probably very hurtful. It crushes you to know that your child doesn't have any passion about anything right now. But he needs to find what it is, and that's okay. And I could see it. Kimmi was sitting there like, I told you. You doing all this, honey? That's my child. I told you about my child already. Maurice wants him to be more ambitious, but he's not at that place. Give him some time. He said, don't check with me in 2 years or whatever. He was like, you keep saying it's my life, but you keep trying to push me towards entrepreneurship. He was like, they just need you to have some clarity in your vision, right? As an entrepreneur, he was like, you know why I did so many things? Kimmi was like, because you didn't know what you wanted to do. Exactly. He don't know what he want to do yet. Give him some time. And so I can see where Maurice is coming from, because that's also his profession. When he helps people get their credit together, he says like being like a life coach and kind of guiding people. So he's kind of using those same tools that he uses on his clients with his son, which I think is great. I'm sure a lot of people wish their parents sat down with them and said, what do you want to do? What can we do to support you? What can we do to make sure that you're successful, and have that clear conversation? So actually, Jalen is really lucky that he has someone like Maurice and Kimmi as parental figures and caregivers, because they offer, again, that balance, right? Kimmi said, I already knew what he was going to tell you. I already knew. So he says, whatever you decide, we're here for support. So shout out to that. So at the girls' retreat, this is what I didn't like off the bat. First of all, bitch, Letisha, you being passive aggressive for showing up late. Period. You shouldn't have showed up late. It was daytime when they got there. By the time Letisha gets there, it's dark. I didn't appreciate that at all. So they're playing games. Seems like they're having a good time. And then we sit down with Iama. So Iama says, I'm here for a healing discussion on how we can move forward. This is what I'm here for. She goes around and she asks everyone what their intentions are. They say what their intentions are. And then they talk about the parental pathology. Basically, how you related to your parents and how they demonstrated behavior, and how that kind of overflows into your behavior with other people, right? And your relationships with other people. I say it all the time. We say it all the time. We learn that when we're in therapy, that a lot of the way that we learn how to relate to other people come from our first relationships with our caregivers, period. And that's just what it is. So she tells other women, I'm giving you these cards. I want you to give your sister the card. Let her know how you're feeling about your relationship right now, about how you feel about her. So Destiny gives Melody a card that says protection. It was such a beautiful moment. I thought it was endearing for her to let her know that, as my friend, you offer me protection. I think that is so important in friendships, to understand that I have somebody who has my back. And she was like, I have your back. Don't worry about it, baby. I got you. So she's like, I don't really do crying. There's another one. Like, I don't understand why, y'all ladies, please cry. Please cry. For some reason, I think that Destiny and her husband, because we haven't seen him at all this season, something is going on with them. So we don't know what it is, but there's a lot of speculations that they might be separated. Something is happening, because we don't see him at all. So I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I'm not invested in it that much. So it is what it is. Melody gives Letisha the card that says misunderstood. And she says there's a misunderstanding, because Letisha thought I should have been, or that when I wasn't available for her, Letisha, and then they kind of show this flashback where it speaks to what Melody was talking about, right? About Letisha being available and her not really being an available friend because she was going through her shit. Letisha said, that's BS. That don't have nothing to do with why we having problems. It's basically the things that you were saying about my marriage. It's not, what you say, it's not real. And I cannot reconnect with you if you're not going to be honest about what we have a problem about. So it's clear that Melody has this idea that she was going to be, that Letisha was available for her or wasn't available for her. And then when Melody told her whatever it is, what her reason was, she was like, and you thought I was being fake. You were, Melody. You were being fake. That, from the moment I saw Melody on the screen in her interviews, I said, this woman is putting on a show. I don't know who she's putting on a show for, but it's really, really fake. Anyway, so she was like, but basically, Melody, what you're not saying is, I didn't trust Letisha enough to share with her what I was going through. So while I was unavailable and I wasn't there for you as a friend, I didn't want to share with you what I was going through, because I felt like my husband wasn't cheating and wasn't acting a fool until he started hanging out with your husband and his brother. That's what you should have said, but you're not saying that, and that's the problem now. Like, it's so funny how we could see Melody's behavior with Letisha and how she acts. And I was like, girl, you and Martel, y'all not different. Y'all very much alike. Very much alike. And she says, well, it really wasn't about anything about being available. It was really about what was being said about my marriage. And she says, I feel like she was blaming me for what was happening in her marriage. And she was like, and it's just a lot of lies that Mel was lying about, things that Mel was lying about. She was like, well, I ain't never lied about nothing. Nothing I've ever said has been a lie, so I don't even know what you're talking about. And so Letisha goes, you know what? I can leave. I can leave because I don't feel like anything's getting accomplished here. I just don't feel like it's for me or whatever. And I was like, girl, just sit down. See what it is? And like Destiny said, y'all not saying it. What you should have said, Melody, is that I feel like it was because I wasn't there to tell you what was going on in my marriage, because I didn't trust you enough to tell you what was going on in my marriage. And yes, I did blame you. See, and then that's why you know Melody is fake, because when Letisha was really talking to her, she wasn't yelling. She did not have an attitude. She was just really like sitting there like, girl, be honest about what you did. Right? And now you want to play tit for tat. The same thing that's happening between Melody and Martel. You want to play tit for tat and say what you did, and then you have this attitude with me. I didn't like Melody's attitude. I didn't. I was just like, okay, girl. And she was like, well, there's nothing for me here. This is Letisha. There's nothing for me here. You're not being honest. You're not being truthful. And I can't connect with anybody who's not being truthful. And so she was like, can she say what it is that I was being unfair about? See, you got the wrong spirit. You got the wrong spirit. You got the wrong spirit. I put Melody's spirit wasn't right. It wasn't. Melody takes her hood off and starts doing all this. And I love that Letisha was like, girl, that's all for attention. That's attention seeking. It was. You acted, the way that you acting a fool right here is the way Martel was acting a fool with you in that other scene. The same shit it's the same shit that's happening. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I can see it as clear as day. Same thing. And I love that Letisha was like, girl, that's attention seeking. And then at one point, I don't know if you noticed, but at one point she was looking up at Melody like, girl, because Melody got up. Melody got up, and I noticed I knew when she didn't want much to drink that she was gonna leave. That she was going to get her shit and leave. That's why she didn't really, I was like, Melody doesn't drink, because why did she just want a little bit of wine? She didn't really want that much wine. I said, oh, maybe she's going to leave. Maybe she's going to make a scene and leave. And that's just what she did. And she was like, well, the post about my husband cheating, she was like, what did you say? She was like, no, tell me what I said. We're not playing these games. That's what Letisha was like, girl, I'm not playing these games with you. She was like, if I wanted to, I could not destroy your marriage, even if I wanted to. She said, Melody, what you were going through, that's not my life. That's your life. How many times did we say Melody and Martel blamed other people for the shit that was happening in their relationship? And because what was happening in their relationship, they wanted other people to be going through the same shit too. That's why Martel told on Marceau, and that's why what's her name is accusing, Melody is accusing Marceau of cheating. Because you wanted what was happening in your marriage to be happening in somebody else's marriage. And Letisha was like, you couldn't destroy my marriage. You couldn't do it. Well, you tried to. She was like, I couldn't do it if I wanted to. And she was like, and obviously I know more about your marriage than you do. So you don't have the right spirit. You don't have the right spirit. You don't. And now when I react, I'm the bad person. So Melody starts leaving. And then Destiny says, y'all playing tit for tat. Nobody wants to say, I fucked up and let's move past it. That's the same conversation Destiny had with Martel in that parking lot. You keep saying what you did, what she did, own what you did. Talk about what you did. I don't think that Melody had the right spirit. Even though I think Letisha coming late was passive aggressive. Like, they should just forget it. That's what I think. Anyways, y'all tell me what you think about the episode. That was it. We're going to see what's going to happen next week. Take care of each other, protect your energy, and let's get down in the comments. Peace.